never imagined my own husband would one day try to kill me. That night, my husband secretly drove our car out in the middle of the night. He hid it in a deserted alley, waiting for me. He thought I'd be passing by soon, and when he saw someone walking under the dim streetlight, he didn't hesitate. He started the car and drove straight at her. She was knocked down instantly, but when he looked in the rearview mirror, he realized she wasn't dead yet, so he backed up again and ran over her a second time. He didn't stop until she was completely silent. After that, he drove away quickly. He went straight to the company, pretending to work overtime under the witness of his coworkers, just to create a fake alibi. Once he was sure no one could suspect him, he finally came home, relaxed, pretending nothing had happened. He really thought he had gotten away with murder. When he got home, he heard my voice behind him. He turned around slowly and saw me, standing there without a scratch. He was stunned, completely blank. He couldn't even hear what I was saying. Then our son came out of the bedroom and started chatting with me casually. That's when my husband realized he had killed the wrong person. He had murdered an innocent woman, thinking she was me. At that moment, guilt and regret started tearing him apart. That same day, when I drove out, I noticed the road ahead was blocked by police. Out of curiosity, I stopped and asked what was going on. They told me a single mother had been hit by a car last night. The driver had fled the scene. I felt a chill down my spine. If I hadn't changed my night running route at the last minute, that victim could have been me, but I didn't know yet that the real murderer was my husband. Later that week, when I went to the car wash, I realized some money was missing from my card. I got upset and asked the attendant to check what happened. Under my insistence, they finally pulled up the surveillance footage from the previous night. When I saw the video, I was completely stunned. The car in the footage, the one involved in the hit and run the police were investigating, was the exact same car my husband drove. And the time he went to wash it matched the time of the accident perfectly. That's when everything clicked. The arguments we'd been having, his cold attitude, it all made sense. He hadn't killed a stranger by accident. He had tried to kill me. And then I remembered how it all started. That night, at around 4 in the morning, his phone suddenly buzzed with a text. The sound woke me up. When I asked who it was, he said it was just a colleague. But who texts a colleague at 4 in the morning? I asked to see his phone, but he refused, saying couples should trust each other. That made me even more suspicious. When I reached for it, he twisted my wrist, snatched the phone from me, and threw it aside. His anger and aggression only made things worse. So the next day, I pretended to apologize. I told him I'd take his phone for repairs, but my real purpose was to check what he was hiding. And sure enough, I found out the truth. He had a new lover. When I opened his social media account, I saw that in his recent posts, he was always with another woman, a coworker. In every photo, the way they looked at each other was different, intimate, suggestive. That's when my heart broke completely. I used to believe that love could fix everything, that if I just tried harder, dressed up, smiled more, I could save my marriage. So one night, I put on a beautiful evening gown. I walked up to him, smiled, but he barely even looked at me. That was the moment I realized my husband no longer had feelings for me. A few days later, his company held a celebration party. I went with him, trying to act normal, but that's where I saw her. The woman from his photos, his assistant. She was young, beautiful, full of energy, and the way she looked at my husband made my stomach twist. I felt a strong sense of crisis. She wasn't just a colleague. She was the woman trying to take my husband away from me. I told myself right there, I wouldn't let her destroy my family. After the party, I wanted to talk things through calmly with him, but instead, he and that woman stayed behind for a deep conversation. When we finally got into the car to go home, I was furious, but I held it in. I didn't want to expose him yet. That night, he finally broke the silence, and what he said shocked me. He told me he wanted me to help him and his assistant with their relationship. That was it. The years of anger, pain, and betrayal all exploded inside me. Before our marriage, I was a musician, passionate and free. But after marrying him, I gave everything up for our family. My dreams, my career, everything. And this is what I got in return: betrayal. I told him that if he dared to leave me, I would expose all his tax evasion crimes, ruin his reputation, and make sure he ended up in jail. He knew I wasn't bluffing. He went quiet. Meanwhile, that woman, his assistant, kept pressuring him. He grew more and more frustrated until one day, he confided in an old friend. His friend suggested something terrible. "Go to Lisa's best friend," he said, "and make her talk. There's something you should know about your wife." So he did, and that's when he learned about my past. Years ago, when I was young, I had a boyfriend. During a wild camping trip, I caught him cheating on me. I lost control and pushed him. He fell off a cliff and died on the spot. I ran back to school, picked up my violin, and kept playing like nothing had happened. When my teacher entered the room, he thought I had been there the whole time. No one ever found out the truth. When my husband learned this, he was shocked, but instead of fear, it gave him an idea. He went back to that cliff, hoping to find evidence of my crime, so he could use it against me as leverage for divorce. But he didn't know that I was following him. He searched for hours, but found nothing. Eventually, he gave up and went back to the company, where his assistant was waiting. She wanted him to meet her parents, and he agreed. At the family dinner, they were laughing, smiling, celebrating, and I was there too, watching from a distance. That's when I realized he was gone for good. When he came home, I gave him one last warning. If he didn't break up with her immediately, I'd go to the police. Cornered, he called her, and ended their relationship over the phone. After hanging up, he just stood there in silence. I snapped. I shoved him out of the house, yelling at him to get out of my sight. That was the moment our relationship truly ended. He stared at me coldly from outside the door, and that's when he decided to kill me. He knew I went jogging every night, so one evening, he drove out to the path where I usually ran. When he saw a woman approaching, he hit the gas and ran her down. But he didn't realize until later that the woman wasn't me. She was a mother of 3. The guilt started eating him alive. He even went to the police station, thinking of turning himself in. But when he got there, he saw the news. The police already had a suspect, and it wasn't him. Then, his phone buzzed. It was our son. After that message, he couldn't do it. He turned around and left. But by then, I had already discovered his secret. To confirm my suspicions, I called him. And the moment I saw his expression, I knew everything. He realized I knew, and panic filled his eyes. I lost control and ran, terrified that he might try to kill me again. No matter what excuses he made, I didn't believe a word. I grabbed my phone and called the police. He snatched the phone away and pretended it was a false alarm, lying to the operator. But while he was distracted, I escaped. He was completely cornered now, desperate and terrified. Soon the police came looking for him, but before he could confess, he received a message from me. It said, "Let's have dinner tonight." He thought I wanted peace, maybe forgiveness, so he lied to the police, told them it was all a misunderstanding, and went to meet me at 9 p.m. At the restaurant, I told him I wouldn't call the police, not because I forgave him, but because I didn't want to waste all the years I'd already given him. He looked relieved. He said he was willing to compensate me for anything I wanted. I paused for a moment, then smiled, and told him exactly what I wanted. He didn't answer right away. I wasn't surprised, so I told him something else, about my ex-boyfriend's death, and how I had once been threatened by that same man. I made sure he understood the message clearly. If he ever betrayed me again, he wouldn't live to regret it. He believed me. That night, we checked into a hotel near the assistant's house. I set everything up carefully. I opened the bathroom faucet, ordered food to the room, and played a recorded voice of him answering questions, creating the illusion that we were both inside. Then he snuck out from the balcony. He went to meet his assistant again, and when I arrived at her place, I didn't hesitate. I stabbed her. When he heard the commotion and rushed in, he found me standing there, covered in blood. He broke down, crying over her body. The next morning, the police came. They searched her apartment, but found nothing. No DNA, no fingerprints, just a breakup text sent from my husband's phone. We both played innocent. He admitted he loved her once, but claimed they had broken up. I confirmed it. The officer was suspicious, but she had no evidence, and eventually left. Still, she couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. Where was the assistant's body? The next day, she brought in police dogs for a full search of the nearby forest. Meanwhile, my husband and I held a mourning ceremony by the lake. I gave him a look. He understood. He took a small boat to the middle of the lake, where a pile of firewood was waiting. Inside it was the assistant's body. He poured gasoline over it, shaking. His hands trembled so badly he couldn't light it at first. On his last match, the fire finally caught. The flames rose high. I watched from the shore as the fire consumed her completely, and for the first time in a long time, I felt calm. After that, we sold the house and moved away.